Hello, so today is one of our 10-minute techniques, and what we're going to look at today is some simple wetting wet and some glazing. And I am just going to grab a couple of colours that I like. I'm going to grab this naphthalmide maroon. I'm going to make quite a watery mix of it, and I'm going to grab this rose of ultramarine, which is one of my favourite purples. I'm going to make a watery little mix of that, and then I'm going to grab a kind of more bluey kind of purple. So essentially we've got three tones, a light, a mid and a dark, and that's what you need in whatever colour you choose. Then I'm going to grab a nice round brush, and this is a number 8 round, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that kind of purpley colour, the bluier of them all, and we are going to make it quite nice and watery. And with the tip of our brush we're going to just start about a centimetre up from the bottom, or a finger's width. I'm going to pull a stem, and at the end of that stem we're going to create just a circular kind of leaf. I'm going to go into that, I'm going to fill it just like that, this colour, and then we're going to come down the stem and we're going to pop in another circular kind of leaf, just really kind of stylised, quite loose. Don't want it to be too dark. And we can pop another one in, comes over here if we want to. And then I'm just going to pull down this stem again just to make it a little bit wider. Grab some of a different colour and just going to drip some in. And this is the wetting wet part, so just where it kind of joins the stem, I'm going to add in some of this other colour so that it can just climb in there. We're going to dry that. If you don't have a heat gun and you can't dry it, then this is a really great thing to do in tiny chunks, but you can do 10 minutes worth of doing these in different colours or different combinations, and then come back to them another time. Making sure that's thoroughly dry. So grab some of a warmer kind of this rose of ultramarine that I'm using, and I'm going to pull off some leaves that are going to come off this stem. They're also going to overlap the other leaves, just like that. And I'm just going to go in and drip in some of that colour, and I'm going to make them a deeper, more intense pigment by dripping in some more colour so they're darker. I'm going to have one here that comes up here and overlaps there. I don't want to disturb the layer underneath at all, and I want to still see it through. So if I start to feel like paint is pooling too much, I dry my brush off on a towel that I've got next to me, and then just use that quite dry brush to suck up some of the extra water or paint. And I pop one more of those in, I think just come in here. Just being really organic with how I'm creating the shape and not worrying too much about it. Very gently kind of stroking the paint on. And again, I want to drip a little bit of another colour into there. I'm actually going to pick up kind of a really bright pink that's quite nice and fun and warm, and I'm going to drip some of that in just to intensify near the base of those. Then I'm going to grab that first colour that I had. I'm just going to pull it down the leaf a little, and then just with a wet brush, I'm just going to take that wet brush up to here so this kind of graduates a little bit. I don't want to get wet by there because the colour will sink in. So again, I'm going to give this a little bit of a dry. You can see now how they're glazed, and you can see through them, they're kind of translucent. You can go on and glaze another set of leaves if you want to. I'm going to mix up some of this rose of ultramarine with some of that bright kind of pink that I used to make a more intense bit of pigment. I'm going to grab myself a thinner, finer brush. This is a number 1. I think I need something more like a 000, maybe even finer. go for a 000. And I pick up and I'm going to carefully draw a central stem line through those front leaves, and then I am going to come out from them just like this. You're really stylised, kind of typical leaf veining, that's what we're looking for here. I'm going to zoom that in so you can see the other side really nice and clearly. So just coming out at an angle, and I'm putting this detail on the leaves at the front. That will make them appear closer. Things that are closer to us have more detail. Things that are further away have less detail. So you can see I put the central line in there, and I'm going to put the diagonal lines in. And again with glazing, we're not disturbing that layer that's underneath at all. We're just stroking the paint to sit on the top. Now I've gone just onto the white here, so I'm going to see if I can lift that off just really carefully with a slightly damp brush. You can see I'm pulling the liquid off. Then we'll do the same here. This has got quite a dark bit there, so that's quite helpful for my stem, because I can just have it come up here like that. And then we can have our diagonal lines coming in just like that. And then we can have the other side. And just pull away. There we go. So we've now got a little bit of detail in there that is quite interesting. We've got our glazing, we've got a little bit of detail, we've done a little bit of wetting wet. And all I want to do now is just finish it off, and the way I'm going to finish it off is I'm going to grab a fine liner, and I think I'm going to use a 0.5. I'm going to hold the fine liner near the end, and I'm going to be kind of doing a loose line that goes around to make a kind of frame. And my 0.5 is running out a little bit, and I'm going to go around a couple of times so it kind of overlaps, so it's not a super neat kind of frame and there are little gappy overlappy bits like this. And then I'm going to take a brush that I'm comfy with using, and I'm going to just paint up to the edge of that line, or one of those lines anyway, with one of the purples. And I might, you know, drip in some of the other purples if I've got them left. I don't actually have very much of the other purples left, but I can certainly incorporate a little bit just to get some variation in the colours there, and bring that round like so. So that we're getting kind of purpley border being formed for us, and using all the different purples will kind of pull in the different colours that we've used in a really fun way. And that is just our 10 minutes up as I'm finishing doing this. So a perfect little exercise for if you've just got 10 minutes. There we go. And I'm going to just elongate that stem a little bit so I can get a neater end to it here. I'm going to drip in a little bit of colour so it goes up. Like that. Grab a little bit of water when I'm about 2/3 up, and then when I'm nearly at the top, just totally plain water just up into that last one, just to help that kind of move. And you can see we've created a really nice mindful card in just 10 minutes, and we've used the technique of glazing. Now obviously when you're drying it with a heat gun, you do get these little lines and these intenser bits appearing. but I'm okay with that. It's a chance to play and have fun with the paint and see what I can do. This is another one that I did, and this one was in blues, and I find it does work really beautifully in blues. And you can see I've actually used lighter pigment here. It does help. I've also kind of put a little bit of shading at the base of the leaf there, which is quite fun. I'm not loving this line here, but for a 10-minute piece of work, you know, I can live with it. If I really don't like it, then I can spend a little bit of extra time, just go in and wet it, and then just press to lift it off like that. And then I can do the same thing over here where there's a little bit that I'm not loving, again because it's just gone a little bit too dark, and I can just press it, and then I can simply grab that fine brush again and I can pop back in the central kind of line of the stem and the little lines that I had to lift off for both of those shapes. And that's a little bit of the kind of discernment over judgment in action. There was something that I didn't like that was drawing my eye that I could do something about, so I did. And there we go. A lovely exercise that you can repeat in lots of different colours, that you can also challenge yourself to glaze more than one layer over the top. How many layers of leaves can you glaze, which is always good fun. And you can also play around with the leaf shape. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you take 10 minutes from your day to do something creative and mindful for you. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.